like.
Woo!
No, I'm not going to read from that. I'm going to read some old stuff, which I came across recently, and I thought, well, that's not bad. I'm going to read some stories, basically. It's quite short. This one is called When We Used to Smoke.
Woo!
When we used to smoke, we used to smoke on tube trains in the last carriage with all the other smokers. And we used to smoke on buses, upstairs with all the other smokers. Even better, on the front seat or the back seat. Or at our desks with their heavy ashtrays, our cigarettes aligned with our lighters, placed alongside our inhalers. And when they stopped us smoking in the open plan offices, it was fine, because we crowded together in the smoking rooms, all of us, and the big bosses, the office cleaners, united in the democracy of tobacco. And then they closed the smoking rooms. But we still maintained the camaraderie, the society of the stained finger. Fancy a fag, we'd say, as we passed each other's desks, or made a sideways glance and a dumb show, with our index and middle fingers pressed to our lips, and we'd stand in the draught of the entrances, shivering in our shirts and blouses, sucking the grey air through our cigarettes and inspiring sweet nicotine. But then they started to chase us away from the office blocks, around the dark corners and into the greasy alleyways, hidden from the teeming streets, where they removed our shoelaces and our belts and our jewellery, where they patted us down in case we were carrying, where they weighed us, took our pulse and checked our blood pressure, where they looked at us disapprovingly but said nothing, and returned us, guilty and ashamed, to our lonely desks. And so we gave up smoking, and we gave up the friends we used to smoke with, and our days became deserts. And our time was hungry. It's quite nostalgic, isn't it? Okay, but you know, we always, at this time of year, we look forward to our holidays in the sun. This is called The Holiday. That was the holiday when my drinking became a rotten stinging. I quickly developed a taste for local eau de vie, fig, I think. It cleared my mind and made me dream again. I thought I might stay and rent rooms, live between the sheep and the goats. I would razor my head and face and then never shave or have a haircut again. I would wear a brown cabaccia down to my ankles with a deep hood, sandals on my feet. I would pray Fajr, observe Shabbat, attend daily mass and go to chapel on Sunday. I would sweep the floor of the mosque and paint the synagogue pink. I would live off alms. I would learn Arabic. I would teach English to the future au pairs of Saudi sheikhs. I would pick the plastic bags from the puntier along the roads. That was the holiday when we searched in vain for the underground mosques and for the remains of the ruined temples, when the camels and horses turned their backs on us, when the men in the souks, wearing overcoats to hide their guns, plotted our kidnap. When planes were crashed into mountains, there was terror at the museums, there was terror at the universities, inextinguishable fires were burning under the pavements, when birds flew backwards and cats fell from trees, when solar eclipses were 10 a penny, and my drinking became a proper stinging. That was the holiday when the buka made me sick, and I would be woken by the dawn waiting with a mouthful of dust, with bleeding piles, confused by sleepless dreams of missed exams and crumbling teeth and wading through mud, when my anxiety returned rubbing its thighs, when cleaning my teeth made me gag, when my restlessness could only be assuaged by another glass, when the flickering at the edge of my vision seemed to presage some kind of revelation, a fugitive truth somewhere hanging over me, only to be understood in the aftermath. That was the holiday when my wife said I was boring and gave me the ultimatum. She said that we were moved to the suburbs, to a bungalow with a front garden on a cul-de-sac, that we would keep cats, that we would drink soup in tea rooms of historic properties in the afternoon, watch Sunday television, wear pastels, that I would manage moderation. Okay, last one is called The Lamb. This story actually won me a prize, remarkable. Anyway, I don't know why. The office was as usual, but she felt restless and decided to return. Let me start again. This is called The Lamb. The office was as usual, but she felt restless and decided to return home early from the city. It was the time of the evening when the lights from within the houses were beginning to outshine the daylight, before curtains had been pulled or blinds closed, as supper was being prepared and homework argued over. She heard the tap of her heel on a step. Suddenly, something very old, a sick, black nostalgia came into her mind, and she froze with her hand holding out the key to her front door. She turned and retreated to the back bar of the Lamb, knowing that there she would be back in the interim, the liminal zone between work and home, where she had to be neither boss, nor staff, nor wife, nor mother. Her fellow drinkers illuminated their faces with their phones, and she watched as the foul white light shone on them as if they were holy. And the gods whispered, "Our true intent is all for your delight." And candles were lit and made it dark outside. She thought back to Greece and the 40 or 80 Alpine Swifts she had seen, not yet on their way south, swirling and squeaking in the mosquitoed air, their wings catching silver in the setting sun, and far above, the glint of a high-flying jet. And then she thought of the faintness of her ambition, and wondered how people could be so sure of who they were and what they wanted to do. In the bathroom, she glanced in the mirror and caught herself flinching, and then she saw her father staring hopelessly back and mouthing the rhyme he used to tease her with. "Yesterday, upon the stair, I met a girl who wasn't there. She wasn't there again today. Oh, how I wish she'd go away." She returned to another gym and thought she too must go south, where the falls are, where there was no pity, where there was no love, where she'd let the sun bleach her mind. But then the door to the night opened, and the noise of the street and the headlights of the traffic flooded in, and her husband and daughters entered, smiling, and joined her at the table. And she held their cool hands, and they talked together. Thank you very much.